The time by Carrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The business news headlines is brought to you by QMX Wealth Management, making more possible.
Census data unlocked, the Bahamas' privacy clash, and Canada's risk warning. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Friday, October 17, 2025. I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast, locally, Statin unlocks free census maps, a move aimed at driving data-led capital investment. On the regional front, the Bahamas Data Bill ignites a privacy versus digital sovereignty clash. And over on the global stage, Bank of Canada warns of heightened economic risk ahead of its next rate decision. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
Serious about building Jamaica? Build with solid PVC pipes and conduits, manufactured in Jamaica by Phosphate, made to the highest standard. Solid PVC pipes and conduits are made in Jamaica by Jamaicans for Jamaicans. Available at hardware stores across the island. Take some solid advice, support our economy, and build well. Buy solid PVC pipes. Next time, ask for solid brand PVC pipes and conduits. Call our distributors or Phosphate at 876-937-5099.
Introducing the Corporate Services Unit, your go-to experts for corporate secretarial solutions. We offer statutory compliance, efficient minute taking, registered office address services, management of board and members meetings, setup and maintenance of corporate registers. Stay ahead with our proactive approach to new regulations. We operate under the Trust and Corporate Service Provider, licensed to the JCSB Trustee Services Limited. We're here to simplify your corporate journey, no matter the size of your company. Contact the Corporate Service Unit today and let's streamline your compliance journey together, because your success is our business.
The local news is brought to you by Darriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments.
Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with a major move that could reshape how investment dollars flow across Jamaica. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin is releasing its 2022 Population and Housing Census shapefiles free of charge, arming investors, developers, and policymakers with powerful geospatial data to drive smarter, faster capital spending decisions. The files will provide detailed community boundaries, population distribution, and urban-rural classifications, information that developers traditionally pay private firms to access. Speaking during the 2022 Census Report press briefing on Wednesday, Director General Lisha Delati-Badir says the initiative underscores Statin's push toward open data and smarter national planning.
Another thing that we would like to share related to the 2022 Population and Housing Census is that with the release of this data, we will be making available to all for free the shapefiles. And the shapefiles are used to create digital maps. Those shapefiles will have with them the boundaries for the communities. It will also have their classification as to whether they are urban and rural, as well as our ED boundaries. Now, our hope is that persons will take this information that we'll be making available and build on it.
That was Statin's Director General, Leisha de Latibadir. Cybersecurity leader Fortinet is warning that companies are losing millions to insider-driven data breaches, even as global cybersecurity spending hits record levels. The 2025 Data Security Report, produced in partnership with cybersecurity insiders, revealed that 77% of organizations experienced at least one insider-related incident over the past 18 months. More than half faced 6 or more breaches. Nearly half of those companies suffered losses in the millions, with 9% reporting damages exceeding US $10 million. Fortinet says many firms are relying on outdated data loss prevention tools that can't monitor modern work patterns, including how employees handle sensitive information across cloud platforms, SaaS tools, and AI assistants. This lack of behavioral context, the company warns, leaves businesses vulnerable to both accidental and malicious leaks. Businesses are making progress by securing more resources and adopting smarter strategies, says Emmanuel Oscar, Senior Manager of Systems Engineering for Fortinet Caribbean. He added that unless organizations update their tools to match today's realities, insider risk will continue to cause damaging losses. Internationally renowned urban planner Brent Totteron is urging Jamaica to transform downtown Kingston's neglected waterfront into a vibrant economic and cultural hub, warning that slow progress is costing the country valuable opportunities. Delivering the keynote address at the 5th annual Maurice Facey Lecture Series on Thursday, Totteron described Kingston Harbor as one of the worst waterfronts he has encountered, but stressed that its potential is enormous if Jamaica acts with vision and urgency. Totteron, who has led major urban renewal projects in cities like Vancouver, Medellin, Oslo, and Copenhagen, called for guaranteed public access along the entire water's edge, catalytic investments to bring people downtown, and a cultural shift toward fast, decisive implementation. He urged policymakers to treat harbor pollution as a crisis, combining short-term activations like food trucks and pop-ups with longer-term infrastructure upgrades. Chairman of Pan Jamaica Group and the CB Facey Foundation, Stephen Facey, backed the call, noting that the waterfront must rise to its role as the face of Jamaica's capital and a space where commerce, culture, and community meet. In a powerful signal of how investment strategy is evolving across the Caribbean, Cygnus Group is putting environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, risk management at the center of its decision-making. Addressing an enterprise risk management workshop at the Jamaica Stock Exchange's headquarters in downtown Kingston on Thursday, Senior Manager of Risk Management Jermaine Heslop says companies that fail to adapt to this new risk landscape could jeopardize their bottom line.
The paradigm in risk management has shifted, all right? And what we find is that risk management or enterprise risk management is now going beyond the traditional financial risks. So what are the traditional financial risks? We can interact. When I speak about traditional financial risks, what are you thinking of? Correct. So we're talking about issues such as credit risk, liquidity risks, and market risk. But we have to get our perspective to be broader than that and to include other non-financial risks.
That was Senior Manager of Risk Management at Cygnus, Jermaine Heslop. We go now to updates from the Bank of Jamaica on how the currency markets traded today. In Friday's currency trading session, the US dollar is selling for $161.10, the Canadian for $116.42, the pound sterling for $218.49, while the going rate for the euro is $191.86. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities. In Friday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 109 stocks, of which 46 advanced, 38 declined, and 25 traded firm. Leading the winners are 138 Student Living Jamaica Variable Preference, Paramount Trading, the Limnas and Bards, and First Rock Real Estate Investments. While leading the losers are Cargo Handlers, Berger Paints Jamaica, Mayberry Group, and Indies Pharma Jamaica Ordinary Shares. The main index advanced by 880.49 points or 0.27% to close at 322,479.50 points. The junior market index declined by 7.59 points or 0.23% to close at 3,361.20 points.
And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standard.
In today's Market Education Feature, we're talking about currency debasement. Currency debasement happens when the value of money is deliberately reduced, historically by diluting precious metals like gold or silver with cheaper base metals. The more base metal added, the less valuable the currency becomes. This practice dates back centuries. Roman Emperor Nero began debasing Roman coinage around 60 AD, and Germany did the same in the early 1920s. Today, debasement usually takes the form of expanding the money supply, a move that can drive inflation and weaken the currency's purchasing power over time.
The Market Education Feature was brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next.
The local news is brought to you by Diamond Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments.
Me grew up and see my granny and save her money under her mattress.
Exactly. Your grandmother house never burned down?
No, how you reached that, so? That was a one-off thing.
That could have happened to anybody. That's why you must put your money in a financial institution and protect it.
What if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in.
What you mean?
JDIC is a financial safety net which provides coverage for your money in case your financial institution fails.
Explain that to me.
Alright, because of the JDIC deposit insurance scheme, once you put your money into a financial institution like a bank or building society, you can get coverage of up to a maximum of $1.2 million per deposit of your financial institution if it should fail. And for even more information, you can visit their new website at www.jdic.org, and you can follow the social media platforms for the latest information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. The International Monetary Fund is warning that growth across the region is expected to cool in the years ahead, with inflation proving more stubborn than expected. In its latest regional economic outlook released Friday, the fund projects regional GDP to expand by 2.4% in 2025 before easing to 2.3% in 2026. That's as the post-pandemic rebound loses momentum and global trade tensions continue to bite. While inflation has generally slowed, the IMF cautions that several economies may still miss their targets, underscoring persistent price pressures. Earlier this week, the IMF upgraded its global growth forecast on the back of milder than expected tariffs, shocks, and more favorable financial conditions. But it says the region remains vulnerable to external risk and geopolitical uncertainty. The Bahamas' new Data Protection Bill 2025 is before Parliament, promising tougher privacy rights and modern rules for a digital economy, while igniting a fierce debate over data sovereignty, enforcement, and cost to business. Minister for Immigration and National Insurance Alfred Sears says the bill updates the 2003 law to global standards, requiring a lawful, fair, transparent processing with mandatory consent and breach reporting within 3 working days across public and private sectors.
With this bill, the government dispelled the conclusion of the 2003 Data Protection Act, described as outdated, lagging behind, or insufficient, considering the modern data challenges. This bill positions the Bahamas alongside its regional counterparts, Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, and Belize, in advancing legalized data protection and embracing digital governance, privacy assurance, and international compliance.
That was the Bahamas' Minister for Immigration and National Insurance, Alfred Sears. We move now to a major policy shift that could redefine how mortgages are enforced across the Cayman Islands. The Registered Land Amendment Bill 2025 has cleared Cabinet and is on track to be published as a Green Bill before year-end, opening the door to parliamentary debate. The bill tackles long-criticized gaps in mortgage enforcement, promising faster timelines, clearer disclosures, and stronger homeowner safeguards, while preserving lenders' ability to recover loans. The overhaul draws on a 2021 Law Reform Commission review that called for urgent modernization to match international best practice, aimed at fairness for borrowers, predictability for banks, and confidence for investors in Cayman's property market.
The Registered Land Amendment Bill 2025 introduces a number of important measures, including 1, a pre-action process requiring lenders to issue pre-action information form and pre-action questionnaire before initiating enforcement to encourage engagement and allow opportunities for repayment or refinancing. 2, mandatory disclosure and legal advice. Borrowers must receive a secured lending information form and a special acknowledgement clearly outlining loan terms and confirming that they have obtained or knowingly waived independent legal advice. 3, improved enforcement framework. The bill reduces statutory notice periods, including the redemption period from 3 months to 1, while preserving fairness and the borrower's right to remedy defaults.
That was Premier and Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, Andre Ebanks, outlining the reforms. In other news, Liat Air will launch new flights to Santo Domingo starting December 12, followed by service to Punta Cana on December 15. The expansion marks a key milestone in the airline's strategic growth plan, linking Antigua and Barbuda with the Dominican Republic and the wider region. The Santo Domingo route is designed to serve government officials, students, and business travelers, while Punta Cana, known for its luxury resorts and beaches, will cater to the growing leisure market. Beyond passenger travel, the new services are expected to open fresh opportunities for the movement of goods and services, fueling trade and economic collaboration across the region. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 19 securities, of which 3 advanced, 8 declined, and 8 traded firm. Today's winners are 1 Caribbean Media, Point Lissa's Industrial Port Development Corporation, and First Citizens Group Financial Holdings. While leading the losers are Angostura Holdings, the West Indian Tobacco Company, A.S. Bryden and Sons Holdings, and CIBC Caribbean Bank. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All-TNT Index declined by 11.04 points to close at 1,412.80. The Composite Index declined by 9.15 points to close at 973.52. The Cross-Listed Index declined by 1.01 points to close at 70.44. The SME Index remained at 99.17. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-923-5111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
Mikey, is what sweet you saw?
Yeah, dear babes. Where's the Cathy? Can you go party tonight?
Party? You secure your future yet? Careless.
Did you know that over time the stock market has provided a reliably high return on investments? Be sure to contact a licensed stockbroker for more information on this exciting investment opportunity.
Taking care of business, Mikey?
Yeah, Cathy. I secured my future. Want to come look over my stock portfolio?
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Welcome back. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump is softening his tone towards China just days after announcing sweeping 100% tariffs on Chinese imports. In a recent interview, Trump admitted the levy is not sustainable, but blamed Beijing's new export restrictions on rare earth elements for triggering the escalation. The measures, which also include export controls on critical software starting November 1, initially rattled financial markets, but Trump's confirmation that he will meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea helped calm investors. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says negotiations with the Chinese vice premier are ongoing, and the World Trade Organization chief is urging both sides to de-escalate, warning that a full trade split could slash global output by as much as 7%. And that shift in tone isn't just moving markets. It's also weighing on demand for traditional safe haven assets like precious metals. Silver, recorded its steepest drop in 6 months on Friday, falling more than 6% as investors cashed out after a furious rally earlier in the week. The sell-off came as easing U.S.-China trade tensions dented safe haven demand for both silver and gold. A historic squeeze in London's silver market is also showing signs of easing, prompting profit-taking by traders. Silver hit fresh all-time highs near $54.50 an ounce before tumbling, while gold remained up more than 60% for the year, buoyed by central bank buying and expectations of at least one jumbo U.S. rate cut. While commodities are recalibrating, Wall Street is still digesting the shock waves from a high-profile corporate collapse. Jefferies Financial Group says it believes it was defrauded by bankrupt auto parts maker First Brands Group. CEO Rich Handler made the allegation at the bank's Investor Day as the U.S. Department of Justice probes the company's collapse. First Brands filed for bankruptcy with more than $10 billion in liabilities, shaking confidence in parts of the U.S. credit market. Jefferies' stock slumped on the news, but rebounded by Friday. President Brian Friedman emphasized that the fund exposed to First Brands is separate from its investment banking arm, while Sean Dunlop of Morningstar estimates direct exposure below $100 million. And as credit markets grow more cautious, central banks are treading also carefully. Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem says policymakers will place greater emphasis on potential risk when deciding their next move on interest rates later this month. Macklem told reporters from Washington on Friday that the economic outlook remains uncertain, adding, "We're going to have to be humble about our forecast." The Bank of Canada will release its rate decision and updated economic projections on October 29, as global markets watch whether central banks stay on pause or pivot to easing in response to slowing growth. And that's a wrap on today's international business stories. From trade tensions to precious metals, corporate shocks, and central bank caution. When we return, we'll bring you a quick recap of the top stories making headlines this evening. Don't go anywhere. And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, Statin unlocks free census maps to steer capital spending. Regionally, the Bahamas data bill pits privacy against digital sovereignty. And internationally, Bank of Canada warns of heightened risk before rate call. Those were the stories making today's CBX Business News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.
I am Pierre Celestin Dwabukumba, the CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange and President of African Securities Exchange Association, ASEA, and you are watching CBX.